Hello, welcome to WHEEM Podcast.
My name is Mae Krapfl.
My name is Willa Turner.
My name is Giel.
My name is Elena Gehrke.
My name is Rian.
Today we're going to be talking about EBR. EBR, or evidence-based reporting, sometimes called evidence-based grading, is a system of grading that focuses on encouraging students to grow and track their growth and progress throughout the class time. EBR uses a scale of 1 to 4, with 1 showing little to no evidence and 4 showing the student exceeding all proficiency. Another specific difference in EBR between that and traditional grading is that EBR only specific tests are graded and not homework, and there's a greater emphasis on the most recent evidence of skills.
We are all sophomores at Mount Vernon High School. For us, EBR started when we were in 6th grade. In the years of 2019 to 2020, that's when it started in the middle school at our community, and the year before that is when teachers at that school had their training. But then at the high school, in 2018 to 2019, EBR was put into some courses and some classes, and then in the following years, staff continued to prepare courses for EBR, and then finally in 2020 to 2021, all departments were full EBR. I think we'll just go around and say our stance on EBR and our opinions on it. I'd say I'm pro EBR. I just kind of like it. Might be just because I do well with it. I don't really struggle, but anything else to add, Willa?
Yeah, I would say I'm also pro EBR. I think it's been phenomenal to my schooling experience, and it's helped me grow my skills as a learner, and it's definitely helped me become a better student.
I am anti-EBR because I think EBR can bring out one of your worst grades, out all semester, and I don't think it should continue.
I'm also anti-EBR, but I do appreciate the effort put into the system, but personally, I'm just not the biggest fan of it.
I'm overall neutral on EBR. I think, the idea of it is good and it's better than standard grades, but it's just, I feel like it's implemented a bit poorly.
Now I guess we can go over some positives. Some things that I like about it is the fact that it focuses more on growth, and with regular standard-based grading, probably be grading homework and stuff, and I feel like I wouldn't like that as much. I do enjoy how you're able to retake things and how things are broken up into standards. I feel like it's nice for students to understand what things they need to improve in. For a writing class, you would have an analysis grade and then a writing grade, and so you would know which one of those standards you need to improve in if you are struggling in anything. I also like the 4 aspect, going above and beyond. I always feel great when I get a 4, but I feel like that'd probably be the same thing as getting an A+, so there's also that stance on it. Any other positives, Willa?
Like Mae said, I think EBR does a really good job of showing your growth over the semester, for example, where you could do poorly in the very beginning of the semester, but as long as you are showing growth and improvement throughout the semester, you'll get a higher grade. I think it helps show strengths and weaknesses of a student's academics. There's more structured rubrics that teachers give to more accurately show what the student's success criteria is and to help them achieve the best because they know exactly what to do in order to get a good grade. It also puts stronger emphasis on the actual assessments rather than how often you show up to class on time or how often you turn in your homework on time, or even if you don't behave 100% appropriately in class 100% of the time. It measures how well you understand and how well you can show your understanding of the content that you're learning. EBR also provides a better way of how real life jobs work in some scenarios. And many real life jobs, assignments, are more of a collaborative process where you have one person has an assignment, they go off and do it, they come back to their supervisor by a certain deadline, and then the supervisor gives them feedback, and then like you can do in EBR, the worker can redo their work and submit it later in order to progress and get better. And I think that, plus there's more feedback in EBR, and letter grades don't really show you that much.
I think that you can also go up pretty easy in the grading standard. Like if you're at a 3 or like a 2, you can easily be bumped up because there is such a range with the numbers.
I do agree with that. It is quite easy to get your grade up if there's a specific standard that you're struggling in, you can practice really hard on that one standard and get your grade up, which can boost your grade. Also, the tests are shorter if it's only a couple standards that the teacher is assessing you on, so that is a good thing, because some students do struggle with longer tests, so I think.
Any positives, Henry?
So like Mae said, I like the way EBR is supposed to work. It tracks your progress over time instead of giving you an average of all your grades like a regular system would. So for example, if you get like a 2, then a 2, then a 3, then a 3, your overall grade would be a 3 because you're improving over time. But if you get a 3 and a 3, then a 2, then a 2, you would have an overall 2.
Next, we're going to move on to negatives. One negative that I have is I feel like it's hard just with 4 possible grades that you can get. I feel like there's a big range on what a 2 can be. There's a big difference between a 2 that's close to a 3 and a 2 that's close to a 1. And I feel like that makes it easy for students to get by with doing minimal work more. I also feel like grading can depend more on the teachers, and maybe this is similar to with standard-based grading. I don't really have a big frame of reference for that because we've had EBR for so long. Those were my thoughts. Willa, any negatives?
I think the only negative that I have that maybe traditional grading is better at is, like what you said, with the 2 being such a broad range of what a 2 is. I think that could be something that could be easily fixed, and it would improve EBR a bunch. Having a 2.5, for example, to mark something that's better, that's like a high 2 or something like that. I think that is really the only negative in my mind.
One of my negatives is that it also doesn't go on like how the classroom environment is and how people are behaving. So you can have a really bad classroom environment. Like you're not able to learn because people are always yelling or not paying attention or getting distracted and making the teacher distracted. So it doesn't reflect in their grading while you're not doing anything to mess that up. And it could mess up your grade, especially, if you can't really learn in that type of classroom environment.
So this is Elena, and I do have to say that, like I said with the positives, I do enjoy how it is easy to target a standard that you need to improve on to get your grade up, but then that also means it's very easy to have your grade be dropped. You can have 3s and then get a 2, and then all of a sudden that 2 stands out and you have a B in the class, which isn't necessarily bad, but sometimes just culture around grades is negative, and that's also another issue. I also agree with what you said about the 2 and other numbers being too broad. Some teachers give grades saying, this is a high 3, but you're not necessarily receiving any more credit or a higher grade that you could get with percentages or traditional grading.
I'd like to add on to what Elena said about the high 3 and stuff. I feel like to a bigger extent, there's the same problem with a 4, because if you get a 4, there's no real incentive to get a 4, because functionally it's the exact same as a 3. It just shows that you did more of it.
Willa, do you have anything to add on to what Henry said?
I just strongly disagree with the fact that there's no incentive to get a 4, because 4s, they're weighted heavier than a 3. 4s protect you from more 2s than 3s do. So I would disagree with the fact that there's no incentive to get a 4.
Okay, thank you, Will. I didn't know that.
This is a little bit of a curriculum issue, but in some classes, it is impossible to get a 4 because teachers don't give the option. For example, in Honors Bio, a class that is offered here at Mount Vernon, I think she only gave us 1 or 2 level 4 opportunities, which is fine, but then it is harder just to keep that going. And in English, it's if you're writing an essay, what is above and beyond?
Yes, Willa?
I agree with it varying by teachers, but I think that's not an EBR exclusive issue. You could say the same thing about an A+ in traditional grading.
Any other last comments? Yes, Elena?
An overall change that I would like to add to the system is adding 5 numbers instead of just 4 so that there is more of a change between the 3 and the 2. And I've heard other staff members talk about how they like that idea, so maybe it'll happen.
Anything else anyone wants to add?
Overall, in my opinion, I think EBR is not a perfect system. Like, I don't think there's any perfect systems, and I don't think EBR is one. But I think it is better than what we had before, and there's room for improvement. I hope to see that improvement in the future, but I want EBR to stay.
All right, then thank you for listening to our take on EBR at Mount Vernon High School.
WHEEM!